We'll do it all, everything on our own. We don't need.
The last living ties to our bloodied past have been lost. Yet the Anzac spirit, a raw embodiment of a nation that has shaped our future, still lives on. So what is it that keeps the Anzac spirit alive? To answer that question, we need to go back to when the Anzac legend was born.
Would you lie with me?
It was the year 1914, and Britain had declared war on Germany. Joseph Cook, then Prime Minister, announced that Great Britain is at war, therefore Australia is at war, and was supported by opposition leader Andrew Fisher, who said, "We will fight to the last man and to the last shilling." A contingent of thousands of Australian and New Zealand soldiers was formed, and they became known as the Anzacs. It wasn't until the pointless Gallipoli campaign to gain control of the Dardanelles in 1915, however, that the Anzac legend was born. Over 27,600 Anzacs were killed or wounded after 8 months of fierce battles, when neither side could win. It was a bloody scene where men would watch their mates die before their eyes and suffer unimaginable pain and torment.
Would you lie with me and just forget the
Yet even in these darkest of times, Australian and New Zealand soldiers managed to display feats of endurance, courage, mateship, and respect that appeared to be unique characteristics, distinguishing themselves internationally and stepping out from Britain's shadow.
bursting into life?
When tales of the Anzacs and their bravery reached those remaining in Australia, it gave comfort and some meaning to what was a miserable defeat. It also gave the country a national identity with tangible characteristics. We clung to this legacy because at the time we were thirsty for something that would make Australia, Australia. As a young person, I have a similar desire to discover my heritage and the actions that have shaped the country that I live in. And I believe that it is this desire that contributes to keeping the Anzac spirit alive today. It was the Anzacs' bravery at dawn on the 25th of April as they rushed onto the shores at Anzac Cove that established the official date of Anzac Day. Anzac Day reminds the population of Australia of the sacrifices that the Anzacs made and emphasises the ideals of the Anzac spirit. The spirit is kept alive by the involvement of all Australians in Anzac Day and Remembrance Day traditions, such as the dawn service, the parade, the minute of silence, and poppies. It's a day for men, women, children, soldiers, relatives, veterans, and even those with no military connection, because the whole country is indebted to those soldiers. If the commemoration of the Anzacs had remained exclusive to veterans who saw active service, the traditions would soon have faded away. However, it is the people themselves who exemplify the Anzac spirit, and therefore keep it alive. It lives on through veterans of later wars such as World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. It lives on through the members of today's Defence Force who strive to protect our country, as the Anzacs did before them. It lives on through the youth of today, as they have raised into a country that supports the values of the original Anzacs and are taught the importance of Anzac Day. Traits associated with those from 100 years ago, camaraderie, courage, endurance, and good humour under horrendous circumstances, are still noticeable today in the way we tackle problems, both individually and as a nation. The Volunteer Fire Brigade, assisting to control the recent bushfires in New South Wales. The unity of communities in the face of tough odds during the Queensland floods of 2011, displaying extraordinary endurance. Or how about the 2009 Victoria Cross winner, Mark Donaldson, a soldier fighting in Afghanistan who used his own body as a target to detract gunfire from the scene, so that Australian casualties could be relocated, displaying unbelievable gallantry and courage. But perhaps even more remarkable were his next actions. He put his life on the line running through heavy fire to rescue an Afghan interpreter who was severely injured and on the cusp of death, This powerful act of bravery, sacrifice, and egalitarianism is undeniably reminiscent of the actions of soldiers 100 years ago. Australians of today continue to demonstrate qualities associated with the Anzac spirit, founded by those fighting on the cliffs of Gallipoli all those years ago. The 25th of April 1915 was a defining moment in Australia's history and continues to play an important part in defining our national identity. The Anzac spirit is kept alive today by both the traditions of Anzac Day and the people who embody it. It's kept alive by Australians who support each other through adversity, by those who fight with courage for a cause, and those who live the Anzac spirit. In 2015, we will commemorate 100 years since the first landing on the shores of Gallipoli.
I think that the history of the Anzac Day needs to be remembered throughout all the generations.
Basically, to remember them.
We need to commemorate our Australian heroes that sacrificed ourselves so we can live in the Australia that we do today.